The day is March 29th, the town, Swindon. Swindon was once infamously called the arsehole of the world, powered by multinational companies. Now, they're threatening to leave. The people who live here voted for Brexit 55 to 45, despite warnings from big business. Now, the Honda factory is closing, and people have very real concerns for their future.
I think the numbers still look very tight for Theresa May, particularly because, as you heard there from Sammy Wilson, the DUP aren't on board. So it's
If we lose a job, we lose the money. It's very, very simple. I think it's just for money and just for politics. That's it.
I feel sorry for Theresa May. Oi! No, I just got interview with the telly.
I didn't vote, but I'm quite racist.
I've come to Swindon to find out what's gone wrong. What better place to start than the pub next to Honda's factory?
Come up notification on my phone, so I messaged my mate on WhatsApp saying, I bet you're happy, because he's going to retire in 2020 anyway. Yeah. I said, Honda's closing, and he went, fuck off.
They didn't believe us.
The Honda plant closure is a hot topic of conversation.
You guys know people who then can lose their jobs.
Yeah, my mate's wife there.
But she goes to work, she gets these idiots saying, do you want a leaflet, you can come in on the march. Yeah. She's saying, well, no, because she knows the union take 130 grand annually from all the people there in the union. What do they do for them? Nothing. The Japanese do what they want to do.
She's been there since 2001. She's going to have been there 20 years when it finishes. It's a long time. And I'll be honest, the redundancy, everybody now is thinking, people that have been at her time are thinking, well, how much money we're going to get, but she'd rather keep her job, to be honest. I think it's more about the overall impact of it shutting down and things you wouldn't even think about, people, news agents, people like that, you know, walking past on their way to work.
This pub,
yeah.
I didn't vote, but I'm quite racist. So I would have voted. I am, yeah. I think it's fucking disgraceful how these fucking foreigners have come on over to my country and ruined it.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I am being serious, yeah.
Obviously people were drinking, and as time went on, they became increasingly candid.
You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but they look dodgy as fuck. You don't feel safe in Swindon town centre.
But how can you make the connection there to, you know, an entire race of people?
My opinion.
Yeah.
That's all it is. My opinion.
Okay. I'm not going to deny you your opinion, but to judge a whole race of people by.
Oh, perhaps I worded that wrong, but I didn't vote.
Yeah.
But I would have voted out purely to stop the foreigners from coming over here.
Right.
And nicking people's jobs, burgling people's houses and everything.
And that's
because I feel ever since that place shut down in France, they started coming over and this country's declined massively. Right. That's my opinion.
Yeah. If you felt that strongly about it, why didn't you vote?
Because I don't think it's going to affect my life.
Really?
No.
If
might affect my children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
But people say you should always vote.
Well, it's your right to vote as much as it is not to.
But what I know now, I would vote stay. Because,
would you?
Yeah,
Vote stay?
I would.
Okay.
I might sound a bit hypocritical because
it's not racist, really.
Because of all this manufacturing business. I don't think a lot of people understand manufacturing.
And with that,
in BMW.
it was time for us to leave. Honda seems to employ someone from every family in this town. Everyone we speak to has a personal connection to the crisis.
You used to work in the Honda factory?
I did. I started when it was in the early days, when it was small.
I've come here to meet Alan Tamala. He worked at Honda's Swindon plant for 12 years. Now he's organising a march to save the factory.
It's a march for Honda, by Honda. Swindon needs Honda. The local and wider economy needs Honda. In fact, the UK needs Honda. Diane Abbott, Nick Hewer,
From The Apprentice, right?
Terry Dickinson, he's one of our reps at Honda Logistics. Whilst there's names on the board, there's some notable absences, namely the two Swindon MPs, both Tory. If it was a human being, we'd be calling 999 now. We need a commitment from both Japan and Honda, and we need government intervention. We can't do this on our own, it's too big.
Swindon isn't only a town of high-skilled workers and giant companies. The shop is a community centre in an area known as Parks. They resell donated clothing and bedding and provide adult reading and writing classes.
Here you go, darling.
Julie volunteers here.
We have a woodland school that we run on a Saturday for young children. This just gives you an idea of what they do. We do learning. A lot of people in this area can't read, can't write. I couldn't, you learn. This is our 20th anniversary up there. That was
been here for 20 years?
2 years, 2 years ago that was done.
22 years.
Yeah. The work we do here in the shop, everything.
What are the employment prospects like for someone in Swindon who isn't high skilled? Someone, for example, that might be coming to your reading and writing classes?
Well, unless they bring more business here, all over the spectrum, not very good.
The profit you make from selling things, what do you use it for?
The community.
Yeah.
It all goes back in the community. I just think, I feel quite sorry for them because that was one of the biggest employers in Swindon. And it's not just Honda. Yeah. It's going to affect a lot more people than just the ones that are working there.
We're only an hour on the train from London, but it feels like a different place entirely. In the capital, politics is tying itself in knots.
I think the numbers still look very tight for Theresa May, particularly because, as you heard there from Sammy Wilson, the DUP aren't on board, so it's all...
Meanwhile, back in Parks, the Polish Community Centre. Swindon is a multicultural town with a significant Polish community. Established in the aftermath of the Second World War, when Polish veterans settled in the town. 60 years later, Wojciech works here, pulling pints and organising social clubs.
It's funny when I ask him, oh, what happened with the Brexit tonight, boys? Oh, you stop talking about the Brexit. They think that, okay, we forget about this Brexit. We don't want any of this Brexit anymore, yeah? And most of them changed the mind now. I said, make sure if it's second referendum, make sure you're going vote for this thing, yeah? Oh, just stop, give me drink, don't talk about this, yeah? I feel sorry for Theresa May. End of the day, I feel sorry for everybody in the parliament. Yeah. Because when they make the referendum, probably I'm gonna say 70% of the English people, or people which one can't vote, doesn't know what's going on with the Brexit. And I don't feel like I be foreigners. I feel like I be part of this country, yeah, because.
You are, mate?
Yeah.
How long have you lived here for?
16 years.
You're a part of this country?
Yeah, then if someone said, oh, bloody foreigners, this is no good.
So do you know anyone then who's affected by the Honda closure?
That's my missus. I got few friends, but they don't be very sad about this because
really?
They said, okay, we definitely find a job. Only shame is this thing, yeah, when you find different job, you maybe make less money per year, maybe your standard of your life going a little bit down. Most of them start looking for job because the Honda said they're gonna be 2021 completely shut. But my miss is working nearly 8 years, or more than 8, I think so. Yeah, she started April, 8 years, yeah, then. Sorry?
Will she be on the march?
Probably yes.
She will be, yeah.
Yeah, because she have to come with friend and yeah.
Will you be there?
I have to work
Saturday
because Saturday school. I come in the morning like 6, 7, open, put the heating on, look after everything, open all doors. This is like my job, yeah.
The following morning, and we're back at the Polish Community Centre. This time for Saturday school. Do you work for the seat company?
TS Tech.
Yeah, TS Tech, yeah, the seats, is that right?
Yeah. On the moment everything is good because a manager store is not, TS Tech is not Honda.
Yeah. So are you worried at all? You are?
Yeah. Oh.
That's a lot of sugar, Magda. So obviously there's that march happening today. Like some people say they think it's stupid. They're like, Why close the roads? It won't make much of a difference. Like, the decision has been made. The march probably won't change that.
Honda not stay here.
Yeah.
No chance. No, we don't know. We don't know what with Brexit. Yeah. I don't know.
Wojciech Lipka is a parent and works at Honda. Next door to the building, a Polish Orthodox church. We get the keys from the priest.
I work since 2010, so it's nearly 9 years. I work on assembly frame, so basically we build the cars.
There's a lot of deep roots here. There's like a really significant Polish community here. Has the factory closure made anyone consider that they perhaps want to leave?
There was one main point to come back to Poland, because about close Honda. Another thing was about Brexit. Actually, I've got friends that are Polish, and they both works in Honda. Wife, she works on one shift, and husband work another shift. For example, a few years ago, they bought house. They've got mortgage over £300,000, and after 2 years, who will be paid if Honda want to leave?
What do you make of like what's going on in the House of Commons at the moment compared to like the reality that people are living in places like Swindon?
I think it's just for money and just for politics. That's it. But what's the point for them to talk about deal or no deal if they want to leave?
In town, Alan's march is getting underway.
Len's going to kick the march off around 11:30. I'm not local to the area, but it's going to go that way. It's just over a mile long.
Nice. I'm speaking to people, like all sorts of people here, like over the last day or so. People just feel like they're not being listened to, and that's so removed. They're far more focused on.
No, you're right. I mean, the Brexit thing is just sucking everything out of. I mean, this should be for me a major plant closure. The impact on the supply chain. This should be front and centre of the political agenda. We're talking about the heartland of our economy here. When you look back there and see that sea of red and white, as it were, marching down the street, it's just the spirit in which the march is conducted in. When you're walking along the streets, we're getting applause, we're getting congratulations, no negative thoughts at all. Why would there be? We're trying to save a car plant, we're trying to save 3,500 jobs and 15,000 in the supply chain. It's at the heart of Swindon. And without Honda and TS Tech and Honda Logistics, that will cripple Swindon. It will decimate communities. Along this street here, these businesses here depend on Honda and the supply chain workers.
So we've been speaking to a few people in Swindon now, and Remainers, Leavers, people have their disagreements, and they're perfectly cordial disagreements at that as well, but there's a couple of things that everyone here seems to be agreeing on. The first is that the closure of that Honda factory is going to be terrible for the local area, both in terms of the job losses, but also because of the loss of income, people not being able to spend it on local businesses, and the wider ramifications on the supply chain. And the second thing that perhaps is the most striking is almost contempt that people feel for what's going on in Westminster at the moment. When they turn on the radio, turn on the TV to look at what's going on in the House of Commons, and they think it's, the word someone used earlier actually was circus. They feel disillusioned and like they're not being listened to.